Welcome into the Sports Buffoons Podcast.
Welcome on in, everybody, to a special NCAA March Madness 2022 bracket. We're going to kind of talk about the games here in the next 30 minutes, kind of go down each round or each section and pick out our winner for the Final Four. Then we'll give you guys the national championship of it all. And this is all going to be different opinions. This is literally Jason's opinion. And then we actually have a special guest, Troy. Once again, is joining the show for, of course, the wonderful world of college basketball. Troy, welcome in. Thank you for joining in today.
Pleasure, guys. Let's go.
That's right. Hey, just a reminder, guys, we are partnering with Let's Talk Sports, so make sure you guys check those guys out on Facebook and YouTube. Fabulous content out there. They've been interviewing literally former players and coaches, and it's fabulous content. Also remember that we are going to be doing another show here at 8 o'clock, and we're going to talk about the NFL free agency, kind of what's going down. What is Veach doing with the Kansas City Chiefs? Are we happy about it? We'll let you guys know, and then, of course, we'll talk about a little NBA to finish that out. So stay tuned for that show in about roughly 45 minutes here. So, guys, let's dig into it here. Let me pull up the bracket. So we're going to start over here on the West. Let's just kind of go down the way. I feel what I have pulled up right now, there are some couple automatics, a.k.a. Gonzaga. Do we all feel like that's a pretty automatic game?
I would say that Gonzaga is kind of an automatic just because they've been to the championship game. They've been to the Final Four. They've got a lot of experience. So, there's a couple other good teams in that bracket, but Gonzaga is the one that I am the most comfortable with making it to the Final Four.
Yeah. Troy, you agree here?
Unfortunately, yeah. They get the potential player of the year, but they also got the easiest bracket, I think. So,
yeah, I agree.
I gave it to them.
I agree on that, too, on the bracket side here as we go down the way. And Gonzaga, what is this, the fourth year in a row of them being a number one seed, basically overall number one? It's insane. But obviously, they play their toughest games early, and then they finish out on their weak division as throughout the year. So, yeah, Gonzaga's pretty automatic. I'd say the next one in this bracket, honestly, is probably going to be the Arkansas-Vermont. This is kind of a tough deal because Vermont is killing their division, but they didn't play anybody. Arkansas had to play through the SEC with Kentucky, Tennessee, man, you name it. Like from those sides, Alabama, Florida, who even competed a lot, A&M, who didn't quite make the tournament either. But I mean, these guys had to go travel to different spots, and they had to play in harsh environments, unlike Vermont. And yes, they are playing up near Vermont for this game. I still don't think that matters. I think this is a pretty automatic game for Arkansas and Vermont. Troy?
Yeah, I'm taking Arkansas. You're going to hear a repeated theme with all my picks, the strength of schedule, the strength of conference that they play in. It's also about the number one formula that the selection committee uses, which is quad one and their net score. And they're up high on that. Arkansas had a tough conference, great schedule, and great quad one wins.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you on that one there. And its strength of schedule is going to be huge. Jason, any comments on this game here?
I will take Arkansas as well. One thing to point out when you look at the West is that there's not a whole lot of sleepers that I can see over here. And, in fact, if you want to give me a sleeper, unfortunately, as much as I can't stand them, I would have to take the Duke Blue Devils as my sleeper to come out of the West, just because they've got so many guys that are going to end up in the NBA. And, if anybody's going to upset Gonzaga, we all know it. It's going to be the Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah, I agree. And, I mean, obviously they are another automatic team to win that game. Cal State Fullerton is not going to beat Duke Blue Devils, guys. They barely got in the tournament as it is. So I'm not concerned anywhere. Duke, yes, they didn't quite win the big ACC tournament, but obviously we know they're talented and they got great players on it. Troy, you got anything on the Duke game?
Yeah, I gave him this. You'll see later. I don't get them much further than this, just because, again, strength of schedule. They're in the ACC is in a down year for sure. They only put 5 teams in the tournament, and Duke wasn't even that impressive. Didn't even win the tournament, the conference tournament. So yeah, I went with them on this first round.
Great. Hey, and then 2 more games I think are automatic here. You don't have to spend much time. I think Bama over the winner of tonight's Rutgers Notre Dame game. I don't think it matters who wins that playing game. I think Bama automatically wins that. It goes into the second round. And then I think Texas Tech, Montana State. I'm not very impressed with Montana State. Texas Tech has been through such an up and down year in the Big 12. And as a 3 seed, Texas Tech should run over these guys just for the fact that they had to play the likes of KU, Baylor, even Iowa State in this one twice, and continue to, they split essentially with some of these guys. So beat Texas twice. I think they've done a hell of a job there at Texas Tech. So I'm going to go Texas Tech as also another automatic on this division. Jason?
Yeah, I feel like this is like one of the easiest brackets to get through if you're a higher seed. I don't really see a lot of upsets, especially in the first round here. I do like Texas Tech. I like Michigan State. I could even see a scenario where you don't see a single upset in the first round of this bracket.
Oh, wow. Troy, what do you got on those Bama, Texas Techs?
Same easy picks, Alabama, Texas Tech, and Michigan State, all because they're coming from the 3 toughest conferences in the NCAA this year. So those are easy picks for me.
Yeah, and Tom Izzo, he's not laying down in the NCAA tournament. We all know that. He went to the Final Four when he was like a 4 seed. Probably now like 6-7 years ago. So like we know these guys step up. He has that team step up as well. And kind of breaking down that Msu Davidson game as well, guys. So if we look at it here, neutral sites, Davidson's 5-2, Michigan State's 5-3, pretty much a toss-up. The last 5 is a toss-up. There's 3-2. I'm really big on the last 5 games of the season, including the tournament, because that's kind of your momentum, your streak of going into this tournament, and your confidence level as well. So obviously Davidson had losses to Richmond and Dayton during that 5-game stretch. OSU and Purdue were Michigan State's, which isn't that bad of a losses at all, obviously. So I mean, obviously I'm looking at MSU as well. Michigan State taking it in to be able to play Duke. I just don't think Davidson played enough good teams to go there. And as far as even the betting aspect against the spread and stuff, each team was 4-0 essentially at one point. And but the Davidson is kind of interesting. They're 4-1 in the last 5 NCAA tournament games as an underdog. So I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out. It should be a pretty good matchup there. The next game here I got kind of tough in this bracket is Boise and Memphis. I think this is actually going to be potential upset here, but I think Boise pulls this out. They're 5-1 in a neutral site. Boise State is versus Memphis is 3-2, and Boise is also 4-1, going with wins against Wyoming and San Diego State versus Memphis, who had 2 games versus Houston. They split it, and they had a win against SMU. So I think there's something there with this game. It's going to be pretty tough. I could see either team pull it out, but I think Boise pulls this game out. Jason, what you got?
I mean, I don't think it really matters. I mean, I'll take Memphis in that game, but I do need to point one thing out since you brought up the betting aspect of the NCAA. A lot of people like to get lured into those 7-10 matchups specifically, and they look at that Michigan State versus Davidson.
Yeah.
And they just get lured into taking that 10 seed over the 7 for whatever reason. But the problem is that Stephen Curry is not playing on this Davidson team. That's the biggest problem I have for anybody out there that wants to take the Davidson in that game. So I'm going to go with Michigan State in that one.
Davidson also lost to Richmond in their conference tournament game, their final one. So to lose the conference, so for them to even sneak in there, I think it's kind of positive. Troy, what do you got here on this Boise State Memphis?
Yeah, I got Memphis. Again, Boise State was kind of they were on the bubble for quite a while, and nobody knew about them and what they were doing. And they kind of got in at the last minute. This is an 8-9. I know that matchup's always tough, but Memphis, I think the X factor is Memphis is peaking at the right time.
All right. Yeah. No, that's great points right there. The next one on this one here to finish it out for the first round, Uconn and New Mexico State. I think both of these teams are kind of a weird toss-up deal because New Mexico State's 3-2 the last 5. Uconn's the same. Yeah, Uconn obviously lost to tougher teams with Villanova and Creighton the last 5, but you also have San Francisco being a good loss, essentially, for New Mexico State. But what kills me on this one is they lost to Chicago Valley, which, who is the point? This is bad. But both of these teams are hot against the spread and as their appropriate seeds here, with New Mexico State 7-1 in the last 8 neutral sites games against the spread as well. So something to keep in mind there. I personally think UConn will come out here with it and not pull one of their midseason losses that they always like to do. So I'm going to go UConn on this. Troy, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm taking UConn. Again, if I'm in doubt, I fall back on strength of conference, strength of schedule, and the Big East is top 3 in power index. So, yeah, I'm going to take UConn. I think they're more battle-tested.
Jason?
Well, I want to go back to the previous game because did Troy just pick Boise State against Memphis?
No, he picked Memphis.
He did pick Memphis.
Yes.
Okay, so we all know that Larry Brown is the assistant coach of Memphis, right? So we got
Penny Hardaway's the head coach.
We got to put a little bit of stock into that. So I think Memphis is going to have a little bit of advantage having one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Yeah, and this Memphis team too. You guys remember the only reason they're kind of at the seed they are is they were injured. They were injured early and they struggled being injured down a couple of their good players, and they kind of got everything straightened up towards the end of the season and started making that stretch. So you guys remember that too. These guys are actually somewhat healthy going into this tournament, so which is kind of nice to see. All right,
well,
and then
I think it's important too. Sorry, just that to point out at this point that Larry Brown was a college professor of mine, so that's gonna help Memphis right there.
There you go. All right,
myself, but still.
That's right. All right, guys. So second round here, we're going to the Sweet 16. I feel like this could be a pretty easy one. I feel this Gonzaga-Memphis game could be a tough stretch, but I'm going to go Gonzaga on this one. Anybody disagree?
Nope. No disagreements there.
Troy?
Nope.
All right. Then Uconn, Arkansas. I think Arkansas is in the bag. I don't think Uconn has the size nor the consistency to be able to keep up with Arkansas. Everybody good?
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree with you on that.
Yep.
Then we got Bama, Texas Tech, which could be a different matchup. It depends which Bama team shows up and which Texas Tech team shows up. For me personally, I think Texas Tech has the advantage over this. The pace of play and their consistency really helps bring that team to be able to get that W versus Bama. When they get in a fast pace of play, they seem to put up wild shots and have issues. So I'm going to go Texas Tech in this one. Any disagreements?
I'm going to take Alabama in that game just because they're kind of the unknown. They've got a lot of ups and downs.
They really have.
I think, that seems like it would be a very wild game where anybody could win. And so I would take Alabama in that just because I think they would probably start to get hot at that point.
All right. Yeah, no, that's fair. Troy?
I took Texas Tech. I just think that Red Raiders are peaking at the right time. They got all the way to the Big 12 championship game. They knocked off some other big teams getting there. Alabama's been inconsistent, as you said, all season long. I'm going Red Raiders.
I like it. And then Michigan State, top Izzo versus Coach K. Finale right here. Michigan State, Duke, second round. Does Coach K get to the Sweet 16? I'm going to say yes, he does.
Yeah, you gotta go with Duke in this one. I mean, even if you don't think they're going to make it to the Final Four, I mean, they're not going to get Coach K just, go. He's not going to go out like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair. Troy, any disagreement?
Yeah, I disagree. I'm going Michigan.
Oh.
I think Izzo has got a better team. I think he's in the Big Ten, which is, again, a much better, more tougher conference. The ACC is weak, and Duke couldn't even win their tournament, so they got knocked off by who? Virginia Tech. So
VTech.
I think this is all Sparties.
All right, that's interesting. I like it. All right, guys. Up next for the majority. This is, of course, majority rules between the three of us. So Gonzaga, Arkansas is next. I personally think here that Arkansas does not beat Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga just has too much momentum going in as the 1 seed, and I just think the size and of course, Chet Holmgren as well overtakes these guys. So I'm going to go Gonzaga. Any disagreement?
Yeah, I'll go with the Zags.
Troy?
I'm good.
Okay. Next up, we got Texas Tech, Duke. Obviously, I honestly think this is here where Duke falls apart. Being consistency as well being an issue for Duke all season long. I think Texas Tech is kind of similar to North Carolina with their speed and size. And granted, they are consistent at time. I think Texas Tech pulls this out. Any disagreement?
No, I would go with that.
Troy?
No, let's. I say Red Raiders again.
Red Raiders again. There we go. And then finally, in the Elite Eight, Gonzaga, Texas Tech. I think Gonzaga actually makes this to the Final Four. Disagreement?
Yeah.
Yeah? We got Texas Tech, Troy?
I just, again, I'm going back to strength of schedule and quad 1 wins. And Gonzaga hasn't played a ranked team since December. They're in the weakest, one of if not the weakest conference that has tournament. They got 3 teams in the NCAA. I just don't think they're tested. I know they got the Player of the Year, but I don't think they're deserving of the overall 1 seed. And I think Red Raiders definitely battle tested in the Big 12. So
I like it. Jason, you're the final tiebreaker.
I just got to go with the Zags here.
You're going
like
Zags.
I said, there's way too much experience. You actually have 2 guys on the same team who are vying for the Player of the Year. And the Zags, historically, they've got 10 guys who are first-round NBA draft picks in the last 20 years. So they got a lot of talent. I think they're kind of playing kind of a revenge game from last year every single time they step on the court. So I'm not going to bet against the Zags in this particular region.
Gotcha. All right, so put Zags in the Final Four here. East. Guys, we're up in the East here. Obviously, I think automatic game is Baylor over Norfolk State. Any issues there?
Nope.
No, I'll take Baylor.
Okay. UCLA over Akron. Good?
Yep.
Yeah, we're good.
Purdue over Yale.
Yep.
Yep.
And then Kentucky over, was it St. Peter's?
St. Who?
So, what is it?
If you can't read it, that means Kentucky's going to win.
It's not good. It's just not a good matchup. It's going to be bad. All right, guys. So obviously, the next game up here is UNC Marquette. This is another 8-9 matchup that could be a little tough here. Kind of looking at the neutral sites here: 2-2 for Marquette, 1-4 for North Carolina, which is kind of scary, and they also lost to Virginia Tech. Ended up winning the ACC tourney. They did beat Duke, though, in Coach K's final home game in Camden, so that's kind of cool. Marquette, last 5 is 1-4, which is hurts, and their losses are to Creighton, Butler, and DePaul, which was really bad, I think, right now, the Butler one in DePaul. And then North Carolina, it's 4-1 in their last 5, losses to just VTech, who ended up, of course, winning the ACC tourney. So I'm not liking this at all for Marquette. I know they actually are a pretty good team, good shooting team. I just think North Carolina has momentum going in, even after that loss in the tournament. And I just think their size and as long as they're on point here, their ability to shoot the ball, and they should be able to really high. It could be a high scoring game, but it could be a big blowout as well. So I'm going to go North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm going to go North Carolina as well. You know, they were on the bubble there for a while.
They were.
Until they started rattling off some wins and beat Coach K. And so I think this is a little bit of a mismatch here. I'll take the UNC Tar Heels.
Gotcha. Troy, any disagreement?
No, none at all. It's an 8-9 toss-up, and so I'll go with ACC on this one.
Gotcha. All right. So next up is St. Mary's, Indiana. I know this is it's a play-in game, right? Indiana just beat Wyoming last night, not very forcefully. Indiana actually came through that tournament in the Big Ten and really put some force into it. I thought they were going to almost upset everybody. St. Mary's has also beat Gonzaga at least once this year, and they had a couple of good wins as well. I actually have this one in my personal bracket of Indiana upsetting St. Mary's after the play-in bracket to be able to go on and play UCLA. What do you guys got?
No, that's not going to happen. St. Mary's beat Gonzaga. So that's all you need to know. This is not going to be one of those upset games. So I'm going to take St. Mary's. I don't really think they're going to go very far in the tournament, but they're going to take care of business in this first round game.
All right. Troy?
No, I'm definitely going Indiana, the Big Ten, the strongest conference in the league, and Indiana played well throughout versus St. Mary's, who won one decent game in the West Coast, which is one of the weakest conferences in the tournament. So
agreed. Indiana was actually a force in a lot of those games, so I'm not counting them out at all. Up next is Texas and Virginia Tech, the ACC tourney winner versus the team that lost to TCU in the tournament right away. So quick background here. Neutral sites, VTech is 5-2. Texas is 1-1. Last 5 games, VTech is 1-4, which is kind of weird, but they are. Sorry, it wasn't 1-4. They're 4-1 versus Texas being 2-3 with losses to Baylor, KU, and TCU. Obviously, 2 good teams. TCU also made the tournament, but man, this is not good. And if you look at the betting aspect of this too, Texas is 0-6 in the last 6 games against the spread, 0-4 the last 4 games as a favorite. This is not lining up good for Texas at all. I personally think it's an 11-6 upset, and I think VTech continues the momentum into the second round.
Yeah, I don't even think you can call this an upset. I think if I'm lining this up, and I haven't looked up the line here, but Texas is the underdog in this game. I don't care what anybody says. Virginia Tech should be the favorite. The Longhorns are shooting 32% from 3, so they're going to be launching bricks this entire game, and they're not going to win the game. So give me Virginia Tech.
Troy, any disagreement?
No, I'm saying hook 'em horns on this one.
Okay.
Big 12 is a much stronger conference, and Texas Tech comes in battle tested. And the X factor is Butch Beard. The dude can coach, especially in the tournament.
That's true. I can't forget about Beard there heading the helm. So we're picking VTech as the majority wins there. The next one up is Murray State, San Francisco. Both teams with a hot hand right now. San Francisco is 3-3 neutral site, 3-2 last 5 losses to Gonzaga twice as their 2 losses versus Murray State, who's 4-1, and they are 5-0 right now. They beat Belmont and Morehead State. Were the best wins for them the last 5 games, which is not good. One thing to note too, Murray State is 1-4 against the spread in the last 5 games overall, and they are 1-4 in the last 5 games as a favorite. Again, similar thing to Texas here. I think San Francisco playing in a division with St. Mary's and Gonzaga is going to help them out here, and I actually think San Francisco ends Murray State's 5-0. Actually ends their winning streak. Period.
I'm going to go with Murray State here just because historically they generally ruin a lot of people's brackets, and I feel they're just one of those dangerous mid-major teams that get overlooked. I understand that it's not like we don't have Ja Morant rolling in here to play for them, but I will take them in the first round here.
All right, Troy?
I got the Dons of USF winning this one. Again, they've just got a little bit more battle-tested experience in playing against, like you said, Gonzaga and St. Mary's and Murray State. I think even though they're the higher seed here, they are there because they've got a record, but not against Quad 1 teams. So
awesome. Yep, we agree with you there. All right, guys. So now second round here, we can kind of bounce a little quicker. Baylor, North Carolina. I think Baylor's just a better team overall. Obviously, they're missing a key player, but he's been out all year, so I think they're adjusting. I'm going to go Baylor and North Carolina. Any disagreements?
Oh, sick and buried.
No, I am actually going to go with North Carolina for the upset here, and I just think that this is the point where you're going to see with Baylor having a little bit of a championship hangover. I think this is their fallout game.
No, that's fair. If there's anything going to be an upset on 8-1, this is going to be it. So, Indiana, UCLA. I'm going to go UCLA. I just think they're a better team overall, and they can compete with Indiana and kind of play better defense against them. Any disagreements?
No, I think in that bracket they could have even gotten a higher seed, and I think UCLA takes the Hoosiers.
Well, I would have St. Mary's in that game, and
Yeah.
I can see St. Mary's pulling that off in the 4-5 matchup.
Interesting. All right. Virginia Tech, Purdue. I think Purdue is just going to be better. They got a little bit more size, and man, when they're on the 3-point ball, they're on the 3-point ball. I think Purdue wins this one. Any disagreement?
Nope.
Yeah, I'll go with you on that one.
Okay. San Francisco, Kentucky. I think it's a pretty easy one. I think Kentucky dominates these guys. They might struggle in the first half, but I think Kentucky ends up just destroying them in the second half. Any disagreements?
I will take the UK as well.
Yeah,
Troy,
I'm with
you
you.
good?
I think this is one of those games where you see the potential big, player of the year just light it up.
Just go nuts. That's what I'm thinking too. Next up, Sweet 16, Baylor, UCLA. All right, this is a tough one here. These are two pretty solid teams. I'm actually going to go UCLA winning this one.
I mean, if you have Baylor in that game,
Yes.
then sure. Yeah, I'll take UCLA all day.
Troy?
I got Baylor just because they're talking about them becoming in the next week becoming fully healthy, which has been their big problem much of the year. So if they get back fully healthy, they're the experienced team. They're national champions, and I think they at least get past UCLA in this one.
Yeah,
the conference.
Yeah, I agree. Like that's going to be crazy if they get fully healthy. So majority rules, UCLA we picked here. Purdue, Kentucky. I think Kentucky takes care of these guys. I just think they're going to be at a different level come this time. Any disagreements?
No, I'm good with that.
I'm good.
Troy? Okay. UCLA, Kentucky is what we have here currently in the Elite Eight. I got Kentucky going to the Final Four. Any disagreements?
No, this is where I got Kentucky. I actually have them over Baylor, but I got them again with potentially the player of the year. He steps up in this game.
Yeah, I can go all the way with Kentucky as well.
All right. So here and on here, I got to switch here. All right. So, sorry, I can't be zoomed in on the right-hand side here, but we'll go through here. We're going to go through the South real quick here. We got Zona, the winner of Wright and Bryant. Mike, can I get a Wright-Bryant update, please, on the score playing right now? So I think Arizona will win this one no matter what. Everybody good?
Yep, we're good.
Solid. Houston, UAB. I think Houston takes care of it.
Yep.
I'll take Houston in that.
Okay. Nope. Tennessee over Lawnwood.
Yeah, I'd be good with
Right,
Tennessee
85, Bryant 71 right now. Is that final yet, or how much time?
3 minutes left.
3 minutes left. All right. So it looks like Wright State might be coming into play. Then Nova over Delaware.
Yeah, I'll take Nova in that one.
You good with that, Troy?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Big conference, tough conference, the Big East. Yep, for sure.
Yep. All right. So here, real quick here, we'll try to run through this here as we're starting to run low on time. But we got TCU Seton Hall, guys. Another 8-9 game here. TCU 4-2, 2-3 the last 5. 4-2 in neutral site, 2-3 the last 5. Lost to West Virginia, beat KU and Texas during that five game spreads, and they also competed against KU 3 times in that 5 games. So that's that right there, and they were tight on those. Seton Hall 2-2 in neutral, 2-3 last 5. They beat Creighton and Xavier, but lost to Georgetown twice. I think that alone here eliminates Seton Hall. They also had a pretty disappointing tournament appearance. I just think that, again, momentum in the last 5 games is a lot of confidence base for me. I think TCU pulls this one out. Any disagreement?
I would agree with you. I mean, Seton Hall was 8-2 in its last 10 games, but I just think they're going to fall apart in this game.
Troy, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. TCU, go Frogs. They've got the tough conference schedule, and they're playing good.
That's right. I agree there. Here's one that could be an upset as well, kind of looking at it a little deeper. Chattanooga, Illinois. Chattanooga's 3-0 through the neutral, 5-0 their last 5 games. Their best win is against Wofford. Illinois is 2-2, 1-4 the last 5 losses to Iowa, Penn State, Indiana, and Ohio State, and they beat Michigan in that last 5. They are losing to good teams, decent teams, bad teams, and they're beating Michigan, which is no no great highlight reel. So, just based off of that here, I think Chattanooga could upset Illinois just for the fact that they got bounced from the tournament like they did, and they're just not good. They're not consistent. I don't like Illinois at all this year, unlike last year. So I'm going to go Chattanooga.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't like them that much either, but I do think they are going to get past this game. I do think they'll win their first round game just because they've got the Wooden Award finalist, Kofi Cockburn, averaging 21 and 10. I think, he's good enough to at least win them a game.
So you're going Illinois
in the
in
tournament.
this one, then.
Yeah, I'll take Illinois in that game.
Troy, what you got?
This is one of those games I have to do this every year. One bracket, early rounds. I got to pick it for just the worst reason, and I'm going with Chattanooga only because their mascot is the Scrappy Mox. How can you bet against that? No Mox.
Scrappy Mox. That's actually one of the best names ever. That's good. Here's the next one here. I'm not a fan of Michigan, but Colorado State, Michigan. Everybody's putting their money on Michigan right now to upset these guys. Neutral site, Michigan's 2-2. Colorado State's 5-1. Last 5, Michigan's 2-3. Colorado State's 4-1. They do get Howard back as the coach for the tournament, but Michigan lost to Indiana, Iowa, Illinois. They beat Michigan State and Ohio State versus Colorado State. They lost to San Diego State after one loss, but they did beat Wyoming and ESU and USU. So I don't know. For me, I'm probably going to go. I'm going to stick with Colorado State as the favorite. I'm not a fan of Michigan. I just don't. They're not the team from last year or 2 years ago even. So I'm going Colorado State in this one.
Yeah, this is kind of a weak game, and I don't really care too much about this game. However, Colorado State are the Rams, and the Rams just won the Super Bowl. So I will go with Colorado State in this game. That's the way to look at it.
Troy?
Simply back to conference strength. Mountain West isn't the best, and you've got the Big Ten, which is one of the top, if not the top conference. So I'm going to ride that and go with Michigan.
You said Colorado State, right?
I'll go Colorado State.
Okay. So we're going to do majority rules there. And then next up is Ohio State and Loyola Chicago. Loyola Chicago, 5-2. Neutral site, 4-1 the last 5. Drake and UNI were some hot wins, and they also lost to UNI at some point as well. And the Ramblers are 5-0 against the spread in the last 5 neutral sites. Remember that, guys. And they made a big run, 2 years? I think in 2 years of the last 5. So watch for those guys. Ohio State, very unimpressive by far. 1-2 neutral sites, 1-4 the last 5. This is a team I thought would really be a threat down the stretch, and they have just not produced. Lost us to Penn State, Michigan, Nebraska, Maryland, and they beat Michigan State. And they are 1-10 against the spread in the last 11 NCAA tournament games. This team is a disappointment, full of disappointment. I don't believe in Ohio State. I think Loyola Chicago pulls this one out.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of people out there that want to bet against Loyola Chicago, and not a whole lot of people want to bet against Sister Jean. I'm certainly not going to do it on the show, so give me the 10 seed in that bracket.
You got Troy.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to bet against her for sure. And I agree with you. Ohio State's just squeaking in on this, and I'll take Loyola Chicago.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we were all right there with it. All right, guys, here we go. Speed rounds here. Second round, Arizona, TCU. I think Arizona's too much for these guys. Any disagreement?
I agree.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Arizona.
Houston, Chattanooga. Houston, I think, is just a better team, better size, faster pace, and I think they can do it all. I'm going to go Houston over a Chat.
Yeah, I love Houston. Give me Houston in that one.
Go Cougars.
Colorado State, Tennessee. I think Tennessee just dominates this one, so I'm going to go Tennessee.
Yeah, that's a cakewalk for Tennessee.
Yeah,
I'll take Tennessee in that.
Yeah, for sure. Tennessee all the way.
Nova, Loyola. I think Nova pulls this one out. They played some games similar to what Loyola is, and they win, so I'm going to go Nova.
I'll go ahead and take Loyola Chicago in that game for the upset.
What's the tiebreaker, Troy?
I'm going Big East, man. They're tough this year.
Nova.
It's a tough conference. Yep. Villanova.
There we go. Sweet 16 zone, Arizona and Houston. I think Arizona shoots the lights out of Houston. I think it's going to be a really close game when this game plays. I just think Houston has enough in it. So I'm going to go Arizona.
I'll take Houston for the upset.
Okay, Troy?
Yeah, I'm going Houston on it as well. Arizona's tested. They aren't even in top 15 in quad one wins for the whole season. So they're just not battle tested, I don't think. And I'm going Houston.
I like it. Tennessee, Nova. Again, Tennessee, cakewalk as the 3 seed. I think Tennessee just dominates these guys throughout this bracket here. Nova is not going to stand a chance. I'm going to go Tennessee.
Yeah, and I will agree with you on that. Even if Loyola Chicago gets to that stage, I'll take Tennessee.
Troy?
Go Volunteers.
That's right. And finally in the Elite Eight, Houston, Tennessee. I think Tennessee is way too much for Houston. The size, the strength, the speed that Tennessee produces, I just don't think you're going to match it. I'm going to go Tennessee over Houston for the Final Four.
Screw it. I'll take Houston.
Troy?
Yeah, I've got the Volunteers again. Rick Barnes has got those guys playing well. They're peaking at the right time, and they're battle-tested.
Yes, I agree. So that puts Tennessee in the Final Four. And we're about to hop in the Midwest section, which is our favorite section, of course. Guys, just a quick reminder here. Stay tuned for after this show. We're going to have our NFL free agency talk, NBA. We're going to let you know what Kansas City Chiefs are doing and what our thoughts on in the NFL as well. So stay tuned. We will be live after this show here. All right, Midwest, guys. I think automatic Kansas over Texas Southern. I think we're all fair on that one. Iowa over Richmond Spiders. We all feel pretty good about that.
Hawkeyes.
Yep. No, that's a hard one. That's a tough one. Nope, I don't like that one. Auburn over Jacksonville State.
Yes.
This is a little tougher bracket. You okay with that, Troy?
Yeah, it is. I think this is the toughest bracket, actually, when you look at the quad one and you look at the conferences that are in here and you look at the potential players of the year that are locked up and loaded in this conference. So definitely Kansas does not have an easy road.
No, they don't. And, for this aspect, just a quick thought looking at this as a KU fan. Look, this is a bracket, part of the bracket. I actually don't hate it like I have in past years. I hated last year because of the USC team, and obviously they ended up kicking our butts because of their size and just the ability they play. But I don't hate this bracket as much as I have in the past, so I'm kind of okay with this aside. Just a quick thought as a Jayhawk fan. Any thoughts on that?
I'm okay with it. It's more. I'm okay with ours, but I'm more upset about the fact that Gonzaga gets the easiest. I know they're the 1 overall seed, but they shouldn't be.
Agreed. All right, we'll break it down here. See exactly where everybody lands here. San Diego State, Creighton, another 8-9 game. Quick breakdown here. 5-2 neutral site for Creighton, 3-2 for San Diego State, 3-2 for Creighton. San Diego State is 4-1. They lost to Boise State by 1 as their only loss. Creighton also has wins against Providence, Marquette, Uconn. And it's kind of a tough one because I don't really believe in Creighton, but man, they lost their star player and they're still competing and playing outright in these games that they should not be competing in the Big East. I'm going Creighton to win this game against San Diego State in the upset.
Yeah, I agree with you on that just because San Diego State has been really good except when they play Boise State. So I don't really have a lot of whole trust for them because I don't believe in Boise State either. So I think Creighton will easily get that game.
Yeah, I hear you, Jace. San Diego State has been really good, except when they play good teams. So Creighton is, again, Big East, one of the top 3 conferences for toughness and top teams with number of teams in the conference. So I'm going Creighton.
Agreed. Sorry, guys. I'm going to stand up a little bit here. All right, so next up we got Providence and South Dakota State. I love the South Dakota State team. Providence has been such a disappointment lately. I don't know why. They kind of fallen apart, but ever since we did our show at Mr. Brews, it has been downfall for this team, and it has not been good. I'm going to go South Dakota State just for the fact that they are the leading three-point percentage team in the NCAA, 44.2. Your next highest is Colgate, and that's more than 40 points higher. So I'm going South Dakota State to win this against Providence for the big upset in this bracket.
I'm going to agree with you on that. I think this has upset written all over it. just simply because Providence is nothing to write home about. I mean, they don't have any like big recruits. They don't have any guys that are going to be playing the NBA anytime soon. So they got nothing, dude. In fact, I'm kind of shocked that they were looking at a 4-seed Providence. So I think that's got upset written all over it. So give me South Dakota State.
I like it. Troy?
No, I'll be the minority here. I'm sticking with Providence again because they're in the tough Big East, and South Dakota State is in what conference?
Never heard of him.
I can't say it. It's not a good conference.
Whatever it is, never heard of him.
It's not a good conference. See football, for instance. So it's not good. But so you did South Dakota State, right?
I will. It's good. It could be a good game.
I think it will. I think it'll be a lot closer than we probably think. So next up, LSU and Iowa State. LSU's coach just got canned. Obviously for, I believe it was something to do with the player and probably some money, and he got caught on tape. It's not good. It's not good. You can't do that, obviously. I don't have any big stats for it, mainly for the fact that the site I was using at this point in the night decided to just go down. So that was kind of fun. But obviously we kind of know by seeing these teams too. LSU and Iowa State. Iowa State has not been very good this last half of the season. I'm all about momentum going in. I do not like Iowa State exactly where they've been. LSU had a couple good wins, had a couple good games. I'm going LSU over Iowa State for this victory.
I'll go with Iowa State in this one. 6 versus an 11. I mean, Big 12. Give me Iowa State. They're not going to go anywhere, but they'll win this game.
Troy?
Yeah, this was a tough one. You can toss this one up and just say Jimmy crack corn, and you know the rest. But I went with Iowa State.
All right. Iowa State here with the majority wins. All right, here's another game. I think it's going to be interesting. Colgate, Wisconsin. We just talked about Colgate being the second best three-point percentage team over Wisconsin, who something happened. All right, are we back here?
Well,
yeah, that's kind of weird. But essentially, Wisconsin's been really disappointing. Colgate's been fairly decent from what I looked up. I think Colgate upsets Wisconsin. I don't think Wisconsin makes it out of the first round this week.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of a boring game to me. I could see it going either way, but I'll go ahead and take Wisconsin in this one.
Okay. Troy?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Wisconsin only because, again, it's Big Ten, and they're battle-tested, and they've got a potential player of the year. He's a stud.
All right. Next up, USC, Miami. USC has been pretty high up there with UCLA and Arizona over on the West. Miami has some good victories, some close games in the ACC. Obviously, I don't think they did enough to make the tournament over an SEC team such as Texas A&M, but I'll give it to them. I think the USC will win this game and take care of Miami just fine.
Yeah, I'll go with USC as well, just because they do really well with their points in the paint, and I feel like I can depend on that. So give me USC.
Yeah, I'm picking Trojans just barely only because the Pac-12 is one step ahead in conference rankings ahead of the ACC. So just barely.
Gotcha. All right. So down the way here, second round, KU, Creighton. Obviously, these teams are pretty familiar with each other. They seem to play year in, year out. I'm going to go KU in this one. Any disagreements?
No, KU's got that. No problem.
Rock chalk.
That's right. Iowa, South Dakota State. Iowa, I think it's the better team overall. I really like this team, especially when they turn it around here the last couple months. I think Iowa is a team to watch and a scary team to play. I'm going to go Iowa in this matchup.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Next up, guys. Oh, I had the wrong one. Next up, Iowa State, Wisconsin. Battle of garbage. It's not good. I don't like this match. I don't like any of this here. I'm going to go Iowa State over Wisconsin. I'm not a fan of Wisconsin. I think they choke too much. So I'm going to go Iowa State.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they'll choke again, to your point. So I'll take Iowa State in that one.
I'm falling back on the
Big Ten?
The number one factor here that the selection committee uses, which is quadrant one wins. Wisconsin ranks 5th in the country as far as quad one games and wins. So For that only, I'm going to take Wisconsin.
All right. I like it. USC Auburn. I think Auburn's just a better team, period. I'm going to go Auburn.
Yep, take it to the bank. Auburn will take care of business in that one.
For sure.
Okay. KU, Iowa. It's going to be a close game. It's going to come down to who's in the post, mainly. McCormick, is he going to show up? Are we going to get Lightfoot of the Big 12 to show up? I don't know. But I think KU still pulls this out here with Abachi scoring like he always does in the 20s at least. And maybe even a down low presence of somebody we may not expect. So I'm going to go KU.
Yeah, I'll take KU as well. I wouldn't be a big believer in Iowa in that matchup. Not to be confused with Northern Iowa from 2010, but no. I'm not going to take Iowa in that game. No way, no how.
Yeah, I've got Iowa. The one thing that they've got is one of the top 5 finalists for Player of the Year. But guess what? So does KU. So I think these are the games once you get to the Sweet 16 where these guys rise up, and I'm going to rise up with Ochai.
That's right. I'm going with you guys there. So Iowa State, Auburn, big mismatch. I think Auburn just destroys these guys in the Sweet 16. I think no chance for Iowa State.
Yeah, I'll take Auburn in that one.
Yeah, I can't help on this one because I had Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. KU, Auburn, Elite 8. I think, honestly, on my real bracket, my big one I make, this is where KU's terms end. Auburn, I think, is just familiar with Kentucky, Tennessee, where they can play down low. Great players. As long as they can play consistent. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a blowout like the Kentucky game was, but I think Auburn ends up winning this game to go to the Final Four.
Yeah, when I look at the two talent levels on paper, Auburn, I think, has a little bit more talent. KU just plays a little bit thin. They don't have a deep team. So, if I was gonna go on paper here, which I won't because I'm gonna go with my heart, then I would take Auburn if I was just looking at it on paper. But I'm going to go with my heart here. I think KU will win that game.
All right, Troy?
Yeah, I can't go away from my heart. I'm definitely KU, but I'd also throw in that it's very, very clear. Unlike several seasons in the past with the Jayhawks, Kansas is peaking at the right time. Like, we've had some downs, but the run that they made the last part of the season and into the tournament, I just really feel like that's going to carry them a long way.
All right. No, I agree. The momentum there is there for it. My worry is just size. All right. Final Four time, guys. Here we go. Gonzaga, Kentucky. I think Kentucky takes care of this. I think it's just one of these Kentucky teams that show up out of nowhere late in the season and are just dominant. I'm going Kentucky over Gonzaga. The speed, the size, the shooting, they got it all. I don't think Gonzaga can compete.
I'm going to agree with you on that. I think this is where the Zags sort of fold, if you will. I think everybody is expecting them to go all the way, and by all means, they should be in the Final Four at a minimum. But I do like the upset in that game, so I will take Kentucky.
Troy?
Yeah, you know what? I just think that I'm with you. I think it's Kentucky. The Zags just haven't been tested. They haven't played a ranked team since December, and they just scoot through one of the easiest conferences in the country. And that I wouldn't want to walk into an NCAA tournament that way. I want to be battle tested. So
I agree.
I think Kentucky.
All right, here we go. Tennessee, Kansas. Obviously, two teams, great momentum going in. Tennessee with two big victories taken away from Kentucky later in the season. KU, who got destroyed by Kentucky, it's not good. But if they get past Auburn, there's a chance they get past Tennessee. But I'm going to take the upset. I think, unfortunately, we're going to get an SEC final. It's going to be a Tennessee-Kentucky match in the championship game, just due to the same reasons. Size, they're going to be over strength of KU. I just think the KU has the strength there, especially as Tennessee plays that defense they did against Kentucky each time.
Yeah, I'll go with KU in this game. I agree with my bro on this. KU getting hot at the right time And then I think Tennessee is going to start to get cocky at the wrong time. And so I'm going to take KU to win that game.
I'm rocking and chalking. I just have to, the X factor in this game. It's a great matchup. I think I'd love to see it. Tennessee is, I've watched them a lot lately, and they are a strong team. They deserve to get to the Final Four. The X factor in this game is Coach Self has Coach Barnes' number. It's just a fact. I don't care where he goes. So there it is.
That's no lie there. No lie there. Not strangers either. Championship game, guys. Kentucky, KU. Obviously, this first match they had earlier in the year, it was a spanking. It was not pretty. They sat KU down and tried to teach them some lessons because it was bad. I think this time around, even though Kentucky is going on a hot streak, KU's on a hot streak, I think KU turns this around if this becomes the matchup. I don't think Kentucky wins either way with Tennessee or Kansas. I think Tennessee beats them a fourth time this year. So I'm going to go KU to beat Kentucky in the championship game and do a payback revenge game that Jason loves to hear.
Yeah, this is kind of a dream matchup. I mean, nobody in the world, this is impossible, right? But this is a dream matchup for me because I want to see KU go up against John Calipari fair and square this time when John Calipari's not cheating on the other side.
With the Brown,
and I want to make
John
it count.
Wall.
Yeah, I want to make it count this time. So KU's going to win it this time, and hopefully nothing will come out afterwards saying that John Calipari has to vacate all of his wins from the season.
What do you got, Troy?
Yeah, I'm definitely a no-go on Calipari. Not my favorite, and of course Kansas is. But I would just add that it is a revenge game, and I have flashbacks to 1988 when we took down 5 of the teams that had beat us in the regular season to win it all. So this is a revenge for that.
I like it. Yeah, I agree there. Tiebreaker, guys. Any prediction on a score if this was the game? For me, I think it's going to be a little bit about defense. So I'm going to go a little lower to the 75-69 score of KU.
I'd probably go something like 88-81 KU.
Okay.
I'm 78-77 in OT.
In OT. I like it. That's a low score for OT. All right, so obviously we got the Jayhawks winning. Again, I'm trying not to be a homebody here, but the Jayhawks are a real contender in this. I think Tennessee's a real contender. Auburn, Kentucky, those SEC schools as well are a huge contender. And, of course, the Zags, I think, aren't the best contender out there, but they're still there. So watch for that. Any final thoughts on the tournament, guys?
No, I will just add to that. Whoever comes out of the Midwest, if we're talking about KU or Auburn, obviously we all hope that it's KU.
Yes.
But my opinion that whoever comes out of that bracket is going to win the entire championship because Auburn is nothing to mess with. So if they somehow get past KU, you would definitely want to bet them to go all the way as well.
Gotcha. Troy, any final thoughts here in the tournament?
Yeah, just final thing. I opened up with this. The primary tool that the selection committee uses is Quadrant 1 wins and the net scores. Number 1 in Quadrant wins for the whole season is Kansas. Number 2 Gonzaga, 3 Baylor, 4 Tennessee, 5 Wisconsin, 6 Kentucky. So there's your top 6 teams as far as the selection committee is concerned.
You heard it right there. Let's take it to the bank.
Yeah, hey, excitement starts tomorrow, guys. Obviously, we got one more playing game tonight. I assume Mike Wright State won in the end and beat Bryant. So, yes, he says yes. So, there's that. Hey, guys, thank you for tuning in here to the NCAA March Madness. Stay tuned. We got a whole NFL show lining up. We got free agency. We got NBA. We got to find out what the hell Veach is doing around here. So, we're going to be all excited here. Coming up, Mike will be joining us as well, giving his insights. So stay tuned. We'll be back here on the Sports Buffoon channel, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. Be ready. Troy, thank you so much for joining us for this NCAA show. Hope you're as excited as the tournament about as I am.
Have a good one, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. All right, guys. We'll catch you here in about 10 minutes.
Buffoons, we're out.